Hello, today I will talk about the GiantMouse AISI Nimbus. This knife is the second knife from the new AISI line from GiantMouse. I don't know if you've heard about GiantMouse. It's an American company. The knife designers are Jesper Voxnes and Jens Anso from Denmark, and all the knives are produced in Italy. As I said, this is the second knife. The first one, which I don't have unfortunately, but I just have a picture, is the AISI Biblio. And the Nimbus is the second knife from the AISI line. So what's the difference between the AISI line and the regular GiantMouse knives like the GM2? Well, the regular GM series from 1 to 5, 5 is the latest as of now, models are limited to 300, respectively 100 pieces worldwide. So when they're gone, they're gone. But the AISI line has no production limit, so if you don't buy it today, you can easily get it tomorrow. And they're a bit lower in price, and they are not so I don't know, fancy in production, especially the handles, like here the milled carbon fiber. Here we have G10. But let's talk about the knife itself more in detail. First I'll talk about the blade, then the handles, and the carry options, and then deployment and locking and some comparisons. So let's start with the blade. The blade is made out of M390 steel, which is, in my opinion, the best steel for a folding knife. Very good edge retention, stainless, and reasonable toughness. It's not tough for outdoor use, but good enough for this one. It's 3.5 millimeters thick, which is good in conjunction with its width, or well, this section here. It's very wide, broad, so it makes and has a very good edge, fine edge, so it makes for a good slicer. On top of that, it is crowned. The spine is crowned, and it has jimping here on top. So especially for bigger hands like mine, jimping fits right there. Usually jimping on knives is here at the back of the spine, which doesn't make a lot of sense, but here for push cutting it's quite good. The length of the blade is exactly 3 inches or 76 millimeters from the furthest point of the handles to the tip of the blade, or from the heel of the blade diagonally to the tip of the blade. It has the typical GiantMouse opening hole, like the GM2. And as I said, it's a very good slicer. It's full flat ground, so yeah. On top of that, it has good flat portion, bit of belly, and a robust tip, which makes it for a very versatile and useful cutter. I think Jesper Voxnes himself said it's the blade shape is similar to the Nordic Pukos, which makes sense, very versatile. Yeah, so that's it about the blade. Okay, let's talk about the handles now. The handles are quite thick compared to some other good all-rounder knives, like here this Spyderco Sage one. You can see it's a bit thicker, but it makes it very ergonomic in use, especially for bigger hands, quite hand-filling. But thick G10 handles, steel liners, make it relatively heavy, with 117 grams or 4.1 ounces. So for such a relatively small size, overall size is 7.25 inches or 180 something millimeters. Yeah, but still doable. Very comfortable in hand, and I like this corner here very much because the inside of the palm is forming an arch when you usually have it, and it fits directly to the handle, so it's good, very good ergonomics. And from this edge all the way to the tip is continuous line, not quite straight. It's at the very top it's a bit, it drops a little bit, so it's technically it's a drop point blade, but makes it very good overall. So this line makes it very, very good for using the tip. So you have very controlled work when you use the tip. On the other side, the clip again fits right into your hand. As you can see, it's a usual, like on a Spyderco, a wire clip. But as you can see here, this section that points outwards from the pocket clip fits right in between my fingers, the top two and the bottom two, and the line, horizontal line in the middle, and pocket clip fits right in there, so it doesn't form a hotspot when using. So very good in terms of ergonomics, even though it's a bit thick. But compared to some other line Spyderco knives that also have an opening hole, but the opening hole makes it very wide, so the diameter is very wide. But this is more streamlined or narrow, as you can see here. The pocket clip itself is very good. It's good springy action. It's a deep carry clip, so it's deep but not too deep. Only like maybe 1 centimeter is visible from the outside when you put it in your pocket. Lanyard hole is placed right beside it, so very good positioning, unlike something like the Spyderco Bra 3, which is very notorious for bad clip positioning. I actually had to use an aftermarket clip to make it work, so here, right out of the box, very good solution. You can also reverse it to the other side. Alright, now about deployment and locking. As you can see, it's a thumb hole opening mechanism, and this is maybe my only slight complaint. They tried to construct it as narrow as possible, so therefore they had to make a small cutout here to get to the opening hole, but the opening hole is a bit chamfered, so sometimes, at least for me, my thumb slips, so I really have to dig in and then open it. For some people they might actually like it, because I heard a lot of complaints about the Spyderco knives that were produced in Taiwan, because they usually have very sharp thumb hole. But I actually like that, because my thumb easily catches on the hole. Here this hole is more comfortable, but as I said, sometimes it happens that my thumb slips, but it's not a big deal. The other point is that it's more for right-hand users, because there's no cutout on the left side. And the locking mechanism is a usual liner lock, which is good enough for most users. It runs on ball bearings, which is unusual for non-flippers. The only non-flipping knife on bearings that I have is the Böhler Model 10 EDC, but the Böhler model has a relatively weak detent, unlike this one, which the GiantMouse has a really strong detent, which makes it really good. So when you combine the fact that it runs on bearings and has a good strong detent, it could have easily been a flipping knife. You can see the flipper tab could have been here. When you close it, just make this portion a bit longer and then you have a flipper tab. But if you want a GiantMouse flipper from the AISI line, can still choose the AISI Biblio. The action here is very smooth, but not drop shotty. Just as you can see, you have to force it a little bit, but I actually like that because it's a real user, not a fun knife. Yeah, it sounds bad, but compare these two, I would say this is more fun, this is more everyday user. And for an everyday user, I want to be in control about the action of the knife and not let the knife itself drop freely. So it's well, it's comparable to the small Spyderco in terms of action, even though it's a completely different system, but very controlled, very smooth. Yeah, I like that. Here you can see a few alternatives to the AISI Nimbus, namely the Fox Tur, again designed by Jesper Voxnes, the small Spyderco in single, the line steel TRE, Spyderco Sage line of knives, and the Böhler Vox F3 second generation. Here's another relatively recent alternative, namely the Spyderco Bra. You can see I don't have it here, just a picture. Very similar in style and for the same price basically, namely $175. But well, in the AISI Nimbus you get M390, whereas here you get S30V, but the Bra has a titanium frame lock, while this is a G10 liner lock. But I think this is the better alternative because the Bra has, again, Spyderco made a mistake like on the Para 3. As you can see, the clip is really low. It's a very shallow carry, so basically you have to get an aftermarket clip. Well, this one is good to go out of the box. So yeah, that's it. My overall conclusion is that this is a very good, very capable, all-round EDC knife, very functional, versatile, for a reasonable price considering the materials used and the fit and finish and the design. That's it. Thanks for watching.